Anyone who has lived in the United Kingdom since 2000 who is yet to apply for indefinite leave to remain may have to wait for another 5 years before they qualify to apply for leave to remain if the government has its way. If you know anyone who currently lives in the United Kingdom who came on the student, carer, or who is on the work permit, kindly ensure that they see this video because the UK government has set out its consultation. 1.5 million immigrants will have to live in the United Kingdom for additional 5 years, according to the government recently released white paper. The UK government is said to say that the consultation, which has just started, the outcome of this consultation is for the government to be able to say that the people who are currently in the UK on the carers visa, they will have to pay more money to the NHS subcharge. You're looking at one person paying additional £1,035. So if you're planning to move to the United Kingdom, please kindly ensure that you use this information to make an informed decision. For those who are currently in the UK, who, since the government released their white paper, a lot of people from our community, understandably, have been panicking and anxious, especially those who have been here in less than 5 years. Let me know what your thoughts are about what we are talking about today. Some people are saying that for those who are already in the UK, this is one thing that you need to take into consideration. This is not the first time the UK government has done this. In the past, when they introduce changes to government policy, it doesn't affect those that are already in the UK. In the past, it only affects those who moved to the UK after the changes were introduced. However, the government is said to be concerned that in the next few years, more than 1 point something million British passports is going to be issued to migrants who are currently in the UK. And a lot of commentators have been saying that this will have an impact on services and the government may struggle to pay pension. Do you think that this is fair for people who came to the UK and they were on a condition that after 5 years of living in the United Kingdom, they will be able to apply for indefinite leave to remain, and now they will have to live in the UK for another 5 years before they qualify for indefinite leave to remain? So for some of us who have been following these issues for a long time, hold your breath. I'm going to explain to you some of the things that you can do which may have a positive impact on your chances in the UK. Some of us who have followed these issues for a long time will remember in 2002 when the UK government introduced what was known as highly skilled visa. The highly skilled visa then allows people who the government assess to have skills that the country needs to move to the UK without needing to have a job. So under the old scheme, you don't need to have a job as long as you are an engineer, you are on the list of the professions that the government wants. You will come to the UK, and after 4 years, you will be able to apply for indefinite leave to remain. However, at that time, there was complaint that a lot of people were coming to the UK who were ending up doing jobs like taxi driver, carers, and that was not the condition that was attached to that visa. Why am I saying this? Make sure you watch this video to the end, because the situation we are facing now is similar to the same situation that happened then. The government then said, okay, the people that are in the country, they are not doing the job that they were given the visa to come and do. And the government then changed the rules. They then said, you will have to have higher level of English language. You have to have, your age will be taken into account, and you will have to live in the country for 5 years before you will be able to apply for settled status. However, at that time, the people that were affected, they formed a group using things like WhatsApp and other social media. They rallied around, they formed a group, and they took the government to court. So thankfully, the United Kingdom is a country where there is rule of law. If the government is being deemed to have acted unlawfully, that can be challenged in court. And these people took the government to court. As you can see in front of you here, this newspaper was published in 2008. This is the verdict then, that the government then lost the case, and the court ordered the government to make sure that those people who have lived in the United Kingdom, that the government policy at that time was said to be discriminatory against those people. The judge who looked into this case at that time is George Newman. He upheld an earlier ruling, and he said to the government that your policy that you've introduced, it is discriminatory and it is unfair. That if you are introducing change, it should not be applied retrospectively. So for those who are already in the UK now, who are worried that, oh, I may have to live in the UK for another 5 years before getting indefinite leave to remain, all hope is not lost. Because this situation is similar to that situation. As long as the people start putting pressures on their MP. So if you live in the United Kingdom, what can you do? And you're a carer, or you're on a carer's visa, or any of these visa, you are yet to apply for indefinite leave to remain. You're worried that you may have to live in the country for additional years before you qualify to apply for settled status. The first thing you should do is to make sure that you contact your MP. There is a link in the description section, because the MP, politicians are only interested in one thing: how to win election and remain in office. And if they know that they'll be held accountable for their actions, they will want to reflect that in Parliament. So if you are living in the UK now, you are worried about how this is going to affect you. We've been here before, as I said before. In 2006, in 2008, the people that were affected by the changes to highly skilled visa, they took the government to court. The same situation. The government changed the rules midway, and it took the government to court, and they won. The judge said the government acted unlawfully, and the policy was deemed to be discriminatory. So for those who are in the UK right now and they are worried about these changes that they have to live in the UK, we're talking about 1.5 million people who are currently in the UK are at risk of living in the UK for an extra 5 years before they will be able to get settled status. So what you will need to do is look for a way, contact your MP, and you have to come together and consider legal action if you think that the government has acted unlawfully, because that is your only chance. If you just wait and say, oh, you do nothing, and you say, how am I going to, I'm just going to wait, I'm not going to do anything, you may have to pay additional NHS surcharge, and this policy that the government has introduced is going to affect you. So this is how you can contact your MP. I have left a link in the description section. The more people that contact their MP and put pressure on their MPs, the MPs will know that this is an issue that affects a lot of their constituents, and they will reflect that in Parliament. Do not fold your hands and pray and expect for something to happen. Pray and be proactive so that this change, if the government, because the government is still having consultation, they are having consultation, and it is the reaction of the public that will decide how the government eventually formulates the policy. As we are speaking now, there is 1.5 million people in the UK who are walking around, who came in 2020, who may be affected by this change. The Conservative government wanted the change to start from 2001. However, the Labour government is considering that that policy should start from 2020. So if you know anyone who came to the UK in 2020, kindly ensure that they see this video. They need to contact their MP. They need to come together and see whether they need to take the government to court, because this is a country where there is rule of law, and if the government has acted unlawfully, that can be challenged in court. Share this video with anyone that you know who is in the UK, who is here to apply for indefinite leave to remain, and tell them that this is the time for them to be proactive, and use the link in the description section to contact their MP as soon as possible. Act now. Make sure you do something. Don't wait. Be proactive.